People, deluded. I hope you're all well and safe, and better yet, good morning to you. Good morning to all of you out there, whoever you are, wherever you are. In fact, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, according to the time zone. As I, increase my subscribers and we build momentum and things, I've noticed. Well, I can't even comprehend the amount of people that I see watching my stuff from all different sorts of countries and cultures, and it really is heartwarming because at basic level, that is what football is about: connecting man, woman, whatever, regardless of complexion, nationality, culture, all of these things, just for our love of the game. It's crazy the impact, the world impact a game where 22 players are just chasing a ball around or trying to pull it over a line more than the other. What it's done for the world is crazy, people. And yeah, a lot of you love football like myself, so let's crack on. Now, I'm sure over the weekend I've stayed away from this a bit because I just don't really like doing videos on this, but I'm sure over the weekend you've all seen a certain Arsenal striker, Lacazette, who should be in the headlines for other things, either scoring goals or dealing with his contract matters, or whether he's staying here or not. I don't know the context of it, but the Sun, and again, I don't really like that newspaper or to give them publicity, but they have kind of, done a story on Lacazette in which you've seen him inhaling a balloon. We can't assume we know what substance is in the balloon. I'm trying to save Lacazette here, but we know obviously what it could be. Allegedly, it's a video that's meant to have been done at his home, and he's said to have sent that to several friends. Now, obviously, you don't want to see any player in this. I mean, you've seen a Chelsea winger. I don't want to get into that, but it's a mad thing. I'm hearing people are getting nicked at 4 a.m. Ambulances coming and stuff. So yeah, especially during lockdown. Now, you don't want to see your player in these headlines. The first thing I'd say, Lacazette has to hold his hands up. Again, a balloon, I don't do balloons, of course not, but balloons are dangerous. But, a lot of people do balloons. I've seen a lot of Arsenal players do balloons over the years, and young and old. Not that I'm excusing it. It's not the most dangerous of things, but then again, it is very dangerous. People have gone into comas and things like that. So, for obvious health risks and stuff that could happen, Lacazette shouldn't do it, and it's not the first time. You do hear he's a big fan of Sisha, not to air things out. But yeah, man, obviously shouldn't do that because he's putting his own health at risk. Obviously, again, it's a bit hypocritical, and I'm not, excusing anybody because no one's hands are clean, but there's probably people out there that do balloons or worse than balloons criticising Lacazette for doing this. They're within their rights because they can turn around, rightly so, saying they're not in the public eye. Lacazette's in the public eye. I'm not defending these things, but if you're going to do this, make sure it's within your circle or it's not coming out. And that brings me on to my third point, really and truly, people. Allegedly, he's meant to have sent it to friends. I don't know if a friend snaked him and sold it to the Sun. I don't know if he sent it to, I don't know, people that aren't necessarily friends, if they've gone on to do their thing. But he's really got to, I guess, realise who is around him and really be a bit paranoid. And because if someone has leaked this rightly or wrongly, you've got a friend that wants to make you look bad, or a friend that wants to profit, because I'm sure the Sun paid a respectable fee for this sort of story and the exclusive, and you can see the image as well. It's actually not sure the context of this. Apparently he went on to say, apparently he's told friends as well that he's just at home chilling and doing balloons. And what else can these footballers do? I'm not talking about the balloons. Obviously, training at home. Obviously, Arsenal allegedly want to get back to stuff on Wednesday. But generally, it's restricted training. There isn't much Lacazette can do. If he works, there's only so much dribbling and technical drills he can do in his home and fitness work within the context. He's going to get bored in. I'm sure, there's other things to do, and he's put himself at blame. I mean, 18 months or so ago, or maybe a year ago, you saw Guendouzi, I believe Aubameyang, Lacazette as well, Mesut Ozil. There was footage of them doing such balloons, people. Doing such. I mean, it isn't the worst of things, balloons, but it is the worst of things because you can lose your life over it. And for Arsenal, we just don't need any more headlines. We've got headlines. We've been making headlines. There's been several stories, with Arsenal, and it's just, for me, it's a pet peeve because it's more drama. You've got ex-managers speaking, you hear a player busts up one week, you hear about other people. If it's not this, it's something to do with people's personal relationships that's irrelevant. There's always some story in relation to Arsenal, when the only thing that should be, is first and foremost dealing with this COVID thing. Second of all, Lacazette, you just want to see him in the headlines for scoring goals. There's talk of a contract, really or won't he, rightly or wrongly. There's talk of that, and who knows, maybe, again, I don't think this will be the decisive factor in his Arsenal career, in that, he's done hippie crack or whatever they call it in the paper. He's done balloons, and that means he hasn't got a future at Arsenal. But it's unneeded. Again, he's a senior member of the team, and he's someone that does, let's be fair to him, it is on record to hear a lot of young players. He takes a lot of them, especially the strikers at Arsenal, under their wing and does good things with them. But people won't remember that. And Lacazette might not be captain, but he's someone I believe leads by responsibility. He was a captain of Lyon, which has a big following within the context. So he knows rightly and wrongly. He's very self-aware of his position and he's put himself in it. Apparently, Arsenal have declined to comment on this, and why would they? You know, it's best to just, you know, it's out there now, just let them do it. They've declined to comment, but they said they're handling this internally. So you'd imagine Arteta, again, he's someone that's stuck by Lacazette, and again, Lacazette doing balloons is actually irrelevant from his form, clearly, but people say, you know, you're not in form, you know, why are you doing all of these sort of things? You know that would be said. And I think for Arteta it's disappointing because he stuck his neck out for Lacazette within football context and kind of played him and stuff and helped him get back into decent form. And he's obviously one of the more experienced players. Like, again, you shouldn't, you know, all of these players, regardless of age, whether you're Saka or Saka, I'd say Saka's technically the youngest in the team. I don't know who's technically the oldest. I'm going to say, let's say David Luiz. I don't know, to be fair. I'm going to just say David Luiz. It doesn't matter if you're Saka or David Luiz. You need to hold yourself with a certain account. But I'm pretty sure, you know, if Arteta was expecting this, he's expecting it from the younger players, people that are still making their headwinds in football and still trying to assert themselves. You know, I might be gassing Lacazette a bit, but he is a Premier League internationally recognised footballer. He's been capped by his country. He's been one of the most decisive players for Arsenal in his time, excluding his recent form. Arteta doesn't want to have to deal with this from an experienced player. This is probably one of the last players he wanted to hear about this with. So Lacazette has to face the music. I assume that he'll be given a fine. Arsenal dealing with this internally. Obviously, there's his contract. I don't think this will mean him going or leaving necessarily, but this could just be for further confirmation. If they wanted to keep Lacazette, they might just say, you know what, let's forget it. Or they might have had one foot out the door, shelved contract talks, and said, you know what, you know, this is really confirms to get rid of Lacazette, people. It was obviously out of the Sun, but it was in the Daily Star as well, people. I saw it in the Sun, but it was in the Daily Star, assuming they're not technically the same paper. But for what it's worth, apparently Arsenal are investigating an incident involving Lacazette after a video emerged online showing the forward appearing to inhale from the balloon. As reported by the Daily Star, showed the French forward appearing to inhale from a balloon positioned at his mouth during the lockdown. Arsenal commented and said, "This is a private matter which will be taken seriously. It will be handled internally." And apparently they went on to claim that the club will be releasing nothing else regarding the matter at this time, while the forward is yet to make any comment. And it doesn't make sense for Lacazette to comment unless he's going to say sorry. But even saying sorry is going to keep this relevance. I mean, silence is golden. I'm not going to say it's going to pass. I think, you know, Lacazette probably should come out and apologise for messing up. But I understand why he wouldn't. For Arsenal, regardless of the comment, it's just unneeded. It's unneeded headlines. It's further fuel to the fire. And you know what? Be fair to Arsenal. Again, with the COVID thing, we've got to think about contracts, wages, getting the team back together. Arteta's got to think about stuff. All the other man there in them positions got to think about stuff. You don't want to have to deal with this. And Lacazette is a professional man, one of the most experienced players in the team, just with age and with the wealth of experience from his current playing days. It is something we don't want to have to deal with, people, but it's there now, it's done now, and there isn't a whole lot more you can do about such people. In relation to Arsenal and actually returning to training and stuff, I'm sure a lot of you have watched Bundesliga. Dortmund absolutely destroyed Schalke. Bayern Munich's game was quite enjoyable. And Leipzig was a bit dodgy, people. There's another game I'm probably missing out, but as you can tell, I've missed football and I've tried to take advantage. Who did Gladbach play? Frankfurt. Yeah, Gladbach. That's the game I'm missing out. So yeah, there was bare football. And I'm sure the Premier League, you know, you hear Project Restart. Every day or every week there's a new angle, a new proposed law, a new proposed way to step forward and whatnot. Now, we know a lot of clubs, but specific to Arsenal, we we've got training at sort. We've got training going on of sorts. Obviously, players are segregated. Social distances is in place. You hear how they have to take them. They have to be responsible for washing their own things, and they can't shower at the training ground. Which some of these players probably ain't, you know, been used to cleaning their own kit and going home to have a shower since they were playing Sunday League. And obviously buildings are closed, so there's a lot going on. But apparently we're trying to make forward steps. Apparently, according to Goal.com, Arsenal hope to begin small training by Wednesday, with the entire squad and coaching staff due to be tested for the coronavirus within the next 24 hours. So this is Monday at this point. You'd imagine they're going to undertake that today. So between Wednesday and Thursday, we'll probably be returning to training because we've got to wait for the test to come back negative. So yeah, within the next 24 hours, crucial bit of information. It's not at the, what's the word? It's not shortcoming the NHS us getting these kits, but apparently the test will be carried out independently by a test team from Hong Kong-based company Pregentics and are expected to take place on Monday at the club's London Coley training base. All the tests have been brought by Arsenal and have not impacted the supply line for NHS or other frontline staff who are fighting the COVID-19 pandemic, which has so far obviously killed, I don't even want to say it, it's quite upsetting, man. Let's forget that bit, because it is relevant, but irrelevance in relation to this. As you lot know, it takes 24 to 48 hours. Arsenal plan to begin stepping up their training regime following the proposed protocols that have been circulated by the Premier League off the back of government advice which was issued last week. Now, as you lot know, actually today, maybe by the time this video comes out, probably not because it is a bit early, it's 8 a.m. The decision makers in the Premier League, the executives and stuff are going to meet again in relation to moving forward. So you'd imagine some light to be shed on that. As you lot know, for the past 3 weeks, London Coley has been open to Arsenal players. It's only been on, obviously, individual and for fitness purposes only. We're trying to, obviously, ease strict guidelines this week, providing all tests come back negative and the club can push ahead with the first phase of the new training protocols that have been drawn up as part of Project Restart. The squad will be split into groups of a maximum of 5 during the training sessions, which will be staggered throughout the day to avoid large numbers of staff being on site at once. Up to 3 members of coaching staff will be leading the 75-minute sessions, including Mikel Arteta. All players and staff are to stay more than 2 meters apart as much as possible, with contact training not due to begin until phase 2 of the new training protocols are put into action. Minimal access to some of the buildings at London Coley will now be allowed, which hasn't been the case for the past 3 weeks, but players will only be able to mix in their groups on the training pitches before returning home to shower and change. So yeah, it's just simply a bit more of a progress. We're still early days and stuff, but bigger groups, you know, a bit more people allowed on, allows us to do different things, allows more people to get training sessions at once, and just allows us to cater better. So it's a small step, and it's always going to be a small step. There's still a lot of inconsistencies. Like looking yesterday, personally, people, I didn't understand it because certain man got masks on, and I get it, but then the man that have masks on, they're standing next to people that don't have masks on, and they're standing next to other officials. Like players are standing next to officials without that. You know, the ref is too close to everyone before the game. You're in a corridor. Players are still spitting and stuff. Maybe not shaking hands, but they're still barging each other. They're not turning away on the pitch. So it doesn't make sense because there's that and there's these things, and then they're not allowed to celebrate. But then, you know, there's nothing stopping them from fist pumping. Everybody's touching the same ball. There's a lot of inconsistencies based on seeing Bundesliga at the weekend. But to be fair to football, there isn't a way where a scenario they can get out of this where, you know, everything's perfect. Whether that's league positions and what happens there, or, you know, measures to how we play, because a lot of it don't make sense. Obviously, you see the lack of fans, but I do think it was overdoing it, really. But yeah, what else do I feel in relation to that? It's a bit deep because again, I don't know when every team officially stopped playing and stuff, but some, like looking at the Schalke and the Dortmund game, Schalke were poor, Dortmund, you know, Julian Brandt was amazing, for example, people, and I'm going off topic, and I don't have it to hand, but it just looks like Dortmund players are a bit sharper, so maybe they're a bit more match fit, or maybe Schalke's players went under this lockdown thing quicker, because on top of, like I said, Schalke being poor, Dortmund being good, it just looked like fitness-wise, and it weren't by a massive amount, but a crucial amount. It did look like Dortmund were fitter, they were a bit more agile, they were a bit more lighter, on top of Schalke just playing poorly. That's all I wanted to say, though, so I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, I've gone off topic, so yeah, in conclusion, you know, Lacazette's in hot water over the balloon thing, and hopefully there's more positive news for Lacazette and the rest of Arsenal family, in that they can step up training and stuff again, with the long-term goal of obviously seeing Premier League football shown, and as much as we can as a society going back to normal. On that note, though, I don't have anything more to add, so I'm going to keep it moving. People, DG, I'm out.